social has grown insane, and it's just the dollar amount and the cost to engage is high. I think we are at the point where the really big brands can be doing it right and the really small brands can be doing it wrong. And so being able to start your strategy with the right audience and the right creative and the mix of those two, and seeing how that is translating to further attribution down the line. So are they re-engaging actively in a search space, or going beyond that? Also, custom audiences and lookalikes are really great. So I don't know if you're familiar with that, but again, the Facebook algorithms and our ad platforms, all social channels, have an algorithm that they can go and find people who are most likely to act like people that already purchased your products, or interact like that, or optimize towards them. So I think that's a really great starting point. So you're coming from a place of strength instead of just starting to blindly put something out there and hope that it costs a little bit of money and it's going to engage.
Excellent. And Emily, you're on the PR and earned media front. And so as a seasoned earned media warrior, what role does media relations and earned media play in modern marketing plans geared to millennials?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is we have clients come in and they're like, my social media sucks. And I'm like, okay, let's take it way back. Let's go back, because you were hurting over here, but there's probably a problem over here. So what we try to focus on is obviously that media matrix, but we still find that working with the earned media and the paid media is just as vital. And earned media, it's still pitching journalists. It's still having the discussion with the New York Times. But it's also having a discussion with a blogger in Philadelphia who has 2,000 followers. It's very niche-y, and I think that's really powerful. So we try to tell clients to remember that paid media and a mixture of earned media is where it's at. And so we always try, even if budgets are small, there's still stuff that you can do. And earned media and getting your placement on the blog, or a video with Elite Daily, or whoever it is, or Refinery 29, which is the big one now, I guess.
I have a feeling we're going to be friends after this. Like all the same things.
Outdoor Voices are Refinery 29. But I think thinking about those and adding that into your media matrix is still very key and very vital for clients. We still try to get them to focus on not just social, but all of the 360 view of it all.
And Jay, so we've spoken at some length about looking at the data and sort of remaining agile when we are putting our plans into place. But what are some ways that we can evolve or optimize a media plan after it's launched?
Yeah, I think this is an area that had actually been a pretty big bone of contention for some clients and businesses, right? They spend all the work and figure out what the budget's going to be, and work either through agencies or directly with a vendor and figure out what they're going to spend where. And now they're like, okay, good, like run with it, execute it. And then, in today's, media mixes, it's about, optimizing towards that. And as much work is done now after a campaign launches, if not even more so. And that can be tough, right? Reaching back out 2 weeks out and making sure you're looking at, how is the, content being distributed, how is it being engaged with, and is it getting to the results you anticipated, or are you seeing certain things drive better performance and you want to shift dollars or shift creative? And we've run into many scenarios where clients are like, you guys are supposed to be taking care of this. Like, why are you reaching back out to me saying we want to change this, change that, and what have you? But that really has been the key difference, and is the key difference in many of these campaigns. We've often been taxed with, as you said, someone reaches out and says, our social media sucks, or our SEM campaign, what have you. And it's usually because they've started out with all this energy and focus and kind of then just tailed off on going on to either running their business or doing other things. So it's absolutely important to stay on top of it, and the people that you have and the people you're working with are staying on top of it and looking at the right things and communicating back and forth with whoever your point of contact might be, on the client and brand.
Fantastic. And lastly, Ben, as the Spectrum Reach maestro, there's always going to be discussions about, we just want to run our video on demand, we want to run our streaming services. So how are millennials interacting with both traditional and non-traditional TV and video, and how are we measuring that, and how are we still proving value in the traditional space?
So I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier about that the way people are watching now is different, right? So that traditional cable box that you have under your TV is now an Apple TV. It's a Roku, right? It's a PlayStation, it's an Xbox. So we're thinking a lot about that in terms of how that viewership is shifting over to those platforms, because it's about convenience and it's about ease. We have no problem being right next to Netflix and HBO Go from a Spectrum TV app perspective, because we want that experience to be fluid. And we know that the younger generation is fueling a lot of that. Still 60-year-olds, my parents still stream everything on Netflix, they're still using it, but we know from a younger generation it's definitely going that way. So we're always talking about that with our customers and thinking about that, of how you need to complement your TV buys with, streaming on demand and live streaming as well. Sports is a big part of that. And then I think that the second thing is addressability. So we're thinking a lot about how do we create a model where we're actually making TV, we're creating lookalike television. So lookalike TV in terms of the people that are watching Bravo or MTV or VH1, what else are they watching? What other programs are they watching? And then what are they doing online as well? And so thinking about how to make digital and television delivered at a household level and not at a DMA and not at a metro is everything that we're shifting our attention to, because that's going to help you make sure that you're reaching that household that has, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old in the home, because that conversation with that household is very different. My 2 neighbors are empty nesters. You want to have that Schlitterbahn ad to come to me in my house because I got a 6-year-old son, and then the retirement community ads going to the 2 neighbors next to me. So it has to be to that where we're thinking about, how do we measure it and give information to our advertisers and agencies, but then how do we act on it with, highly successful campaigns.